Hello, our names are Viktoria and Anna, and we are students of International Relationships course. We would like to tell you about Switzerland, and many people believe that Switzerland is just chocolate, fondue, and banks, but we are sure that Switzerland is a lot more than just chocolate, fondue, and banks, and we will try to prove it.
Okay, so we'd like to start with Geneva. Geneva is a city in the far southwestern corner of Switzerland, one of Europe's most cosmopolitan cities, and it developed its unique character from the 16th century, when, as the center of the Calvinist Reformation, it became the Protestant Rome. French remains the first language of Geneva. Geneva has an ancient culture tradition, a scholarly elite long cultivated theology, philosophy, literature, and especially since the 17th century, the natural and applied science. Numerous scientific organizations are based in Geneva, including the Europe Organization for Nuclear Researches and the World Meteorological Organization. The Geneva Botanical Gardens is a major botanical research center. And the city is a favorite neutral meeting place for diplomatic initiatives. For example, World Trade Organization, World Health Organization, and more. Manufacturing is handicapped by a lack of space and raw materials, but Geneva, as one of the oldest banking centers in Europe, has profited from an early start in capital accumulation. It benefits from a skilled labor force and managers who are international in outlook. Certain older activities, such as cotton and textile manufacture, have disappeared. And the remarkable medieval and more contemporary buildings showing a mix of French and German influence. For example, this cathedral and more.
The next city we would like to tell you is Basel. And Basel can look back on over 2,000 years of history. There has been a settlement here since Celtic times, and for good reason. The geographic location between Alps and lakes gives our city an exceptional amount of sunshine and one of the warmest climates in Switzerland. And the population of Basel is about 190,000 people. In Basel, you will find a unique concentration of innovative companies, research institutes, and academic institutions. A cosmopolitan culture and international environment in business have friendly conditions. The city on the Rhine is a center for life science and the chemical and pharmaceutical industries, such as Novartis, Hoffmann La Roche, and Clariant. It is also a home to many important companies in the logistics, transport, and financial services industries. The University of Basel has an international reputation of outstanding achievements in research and teaching. Founded in 1460, the University of Basel is the oldest university in Switzerland and has a history of success going back over 550 years. As a comprehensive university offering a wide range of high-quality educational opportunities, the University of Basel attracts students from Switzerland and the entire world, offering them outstanding studying conditions as they work towards their degrees. The University of Basel has 7 faculties covering a wide spectrum of academic disciplines. In international rankings, the University of Basel is regularly placed among the 100 top universities in the world, thanks to its research achievements. Also, Basel is called the city of trams, and the Basel tramway network is a network of tramways forming part of the public transport system in Basel and the Swiss part of its agglomeration. It has 13 lines and it was opened in 1985. But the most important feature of tram network of Basel is that trams have cross-border routes, and you can go by tram to France and Germany. Also, Basel is a city of museums, and there are nearly 40 museums with spectacular collections and special exhibitions, unique in Switzerland and at the top of the international league too. The Kunstmuseum Basel is the oldest publicly accessible art collection in the world. The focus on the museum is on paintings and graphic art by artists from the Upper Rhine region from 1400 to 1600 years, and the art of the 19th and 21st century.
So the next city is Zurich. Zurich is an upmarket banking city and the financial capital of the Switzerland. And it is often labeled as the most expensive city in the world for its expensive and luxurious lifestyle, high-end shopping, and fancy chocolates. However, despite its expense and extravagance, it is also ranked as one of the best cities in the world to live. Zurich is known for its extremely active techno scene, from clubs to underground raves, and the more popular and mainstream clubs and bars found in Zurich West. Zurich is the biggest city in Switzerland. It's also extremely well situated. It sits right on Lake Zurich and has the waters of the River Limmat running right through it. And all this at the foot of the Swiss Alps. Some of Zurich's most impressive structures are also its most religious and sometimes controversial. A popular destination is the Fraumeister or the Women's Church. It was built in the 9th century by King Louis the German for his daughter and was open only to the rich women of Zurich. It was also a seat of political power in the Middle Age. And Zurich lies in the German-speaking part of Switzerland, but in everyday life, people in Zurich speak Swiss German. It's a German dialect.
Then something about Lucerne. With the population of approximately 82,000 people, Lucerne is the most populous city in central Switzerland and a nexus of economics, transportation, culture, and media in the region. And the official language of Lucerne is German. Lucerne is in the heart of Switzerland, is surrounded by natural beauty and has been attracting religious groups and tourists for decades. Lucerne has a number of important churches that should be on any group itinerary. Dating back to 1912, St. Paul's Church is a unique blend of Neo-Gothic and Art Nouveau styles and features a splendid interior, charming frescoes, and so on. Lucerne's Franciscan Church, which once doubled as a city hall, was built between 1270 and 1280 and features a simple Gothic architectural style. The beautiful Jesuit church is considered to be the first large Baroque church built in Switzerland north of the Alps. St. Matthew Church, one of only 2 Protestant churches in Lucerne, was designed by Ferdinand Stadler around 1848. The next most popular attractions to tourists is Chapelle Bridge, and the centerpiece of town. It is one of the oldest covered wooden bridges in Europe. Up the hill is the fortified wall that was constructed in 1386. 4 of its towers are open to the public. KKL. In KKL, Lucerne has provided a facility that serves not only the local population, but also attracts interest from around the world. From a programmatic point of view, this is one of the fundamental importance for building a city that aspires to host concerts and conferences worldwide, and an essential element of the cultural life of Lucerne. This ultrastructure represents a clear break with tradition. The building stands out above all of its huge roof And in the few years that has already built up as a new symbol of the city, thanks to its unique architecture, complementing the existing landmarks such as Mount Platos and the Chapelle Bridge. Spaces in terms of sound is one of the best concert halls in the world. Activities that are developed here covering the fields of culture, cuisine, and conventions. There is also a wide variety of possible events within each of these areas. Then, Transport Museum. Lucén's highly popular transport museum, located by the lake, will fascinate nearly everyone with its model and prototype trains, airplanes, ships, and other vehicles. Besides group tours, the museum offers team building experiences in cooking, problem solving, and challenges, and torchlight tours and dinner.
So we're moving on to the capital of Switzerland and of Bern canton. It's Bern. It's a city in the west central part of the country. It lies along a narrow loop of the Aire River. In addition to being the Swiss federal capital, Bern is the headquarters of the International Postal, Telegraph, Railway, and Copyright Unions, and the population is mainly German-speaking. Old Bern, connected by several bridges to newer parts of the city on the right bank, preserves more of its medieval appearance than any other Swiss city. It is characterized by 6 square kilometers of covered arcades, towers, and 17th century fountains. The Gothic Cathedral is the dominant landmark. Bern Minster is built in the Gothic style. Its construction started in 15th century. Its tower was only completed in 19th century. It is the tallest cathedral in Switzerland. Also notable is the Nudek Church, a famous clock tower with a 16th century clock and mechanical puppets that perform 4 minutes before every hour. And the Cage Tower are 2 remaining towers of the old wall that once protected the city. And a favorite decorative motif is the bear, commemorating the legend of the first animal killed by Berthold V in the year the city was founded. This legend is also to be the source of the city's name. Perhaps the most famous Bern landmark is the Bear Pit, where bears have been kept on display at the city's expense since 15th century.
And of course, it's essential to mention fondue. And fondue is melted cheese with bread cubes. And the process is that the bread cubes are picked up on the fork and swiveled in the melted cheese, which is served in the traditional ceramic fondue pot called fakelon. In every restaurant and cafe, you can order some fondue sets, but remember that fondue is eaten only with white wine or tea.
Also, chocolate is very famous in the world, and Swiss chocolate is famous for its beautiful combination of milk and cocoa. They use pure Alpine cow milk and high quality cocoa beans to produce award-winning chocolates.
Then carnivals. Carnivals are actually a big part of Swiss culture. And the first carnival is Homstrom. In the morning of the first Saturday in February, the older school children meet at the village square in Squall to beat the Homstrom, or man of straw. They twist together thick strands of rye, which has been hand-threaded and especially prepared for this purpose. The strands are then twined around the telephone pole, which is almost 8 meters long. The work must be done by noon, at which time the bundles should have reached a diameter of approximately 2 meters. In the afternoon, a group of adults place the Homstrom in a specially prepared hole in a field just outside the village. He must be well guarded, so the boys from the next village cannot light him before his time. In the evening, when the tower clock strikes 8, the oldest boys throw balls of fire, which are eggs drenched in petroleum, and which have up to now illuminated the grounds, at the Holmstrom and set him aflame. The children and adults sing the Holmstrom song, written by a native poet. Half an hour later, the spirit of winter is consumed and everyone walks back to the village. Then the Carnival of Fribourg. The Carnival of Fribourg has been filling the cobbled streets of the old town with colorful parades, Guggen music, laughter, and fun over 50 years. In addition, more entertainment and a great party atmosphere are in the old town's bistros, bars, and cellars. This carnival takes place in the old town of Fribourg at the Petit Saint-Jean Square. Then one of the most famous ones is Basel Festival, that is also called Fastnacht. And it's the biggest carnival in Switzerland and takes place annually between February and March in Basel. It has been listed as one of the top 50 local festivities in Europe. The approximately 18,000 active Baselers dress up in a wide variety of costumes, including a mask known as a lark. Participants are fully concealed and must remain incognito while parading. It is considered inappropriate and a breach of protocol to identify oneself by removing the mask, other than during official breaks from the parade. Members of the various cliques wear costumes that fit a specific theme, except during Tuesday. Costumes and masks commonly represent famous people, including politicians or even comic characters or animals. More traditional masks recall Napoleonic soldiers.
So banks. Banking in Switzerland dates to the early 18th century through Switzerland's merchant trade and has over the centuries grown into complex international industry. Switzerland remained neutral in subsequent European conflicts as well, adding to its reputation for banking stability. Aside from the country's political neutrality, Switzerland's geographic location was also instrumental in its development as a banking center. As a small landlocked country with few natural resources of its own, Switzerland turned to financial services and manufacturing for economic growth. Switzerland was surrounded by industrial powerhouses in France, northern Italy, and German states. Multilingual, Switzerland began providing banking services to each of these markets in the early industrial period, and to this day, there are respective consortiums of bankers servicing to French customers, Germans, and Italians.
Then a few facts of modern art in Switzerland. And actually, Switzerland is a center for modern art in Europe and in the world, in fact, actually. And there are many international exhibitions of modern art each year in Switzerland that attract people from around the world. And the most famous modern art exhibition in Switzerland is Art Basel. And sometimes Art Basel takes place not only in Switzerland, but also in the USA and Hong Kong. Also, each city in Switzerland has several unique museums of modern art. In conclusion, we would like to say that Switzerland is a must-have for any tourist. And we think we've proved that Switzerland is actually a country full of different cultures, including French, Germany, and also Romanian. And we hope you liked it. Bye.